Oh, so cool.
Okay, we should be recording now.
Yes.
Yeah, so what do you know about veganism? Do you know what veganism means?
I only know about vegan about yeah, people don't want to hurt the animals. Uh, People who are vegans, they want to protect the animals, and also they think eating vegetables is a way of like friendly to the environment and to the nature. So that's something I know about the vegan.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man. So the definition of veganism is just a philosophy of life, which seeks to exclude all forms of animal exploitation and cruelty as far as possible and practical. So, as you said, like we don't want to hurt animals, and pretty much my view is that the, there's no justification to harm animals, like because there's not a morally significant difference between us and other animals that justifies the difference in treatment. So what do you think about that? I presume that you eat animals yourself, right?
Yes, I'm just a normal person. I eat, animal products and everything. So in my point, actually, my religion was Buddhist, and I do. There are a few days in a month, like 4 days in a month, I don't eat, animal products. I just eat vegetables and all kinds of that. Yeah, and I think
Okay, and what are those the reasons for not eating animals in certain days? Like religious reasons, spiritual reasons, something like that.
yes. Um, Let me Google translate it. Sorry. Hmm.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you wanted to say? Sorry.
Yes. Because in my opinion, in my point of view, I think that when animals dies because of for the meat, for food. I mean, animals. People killed animal for food, right? And when they die, they have some, a lot of emotions endured in their body, and it transferred into the energy into the food when we eat, and everything we eat, it endures those, like negative emotions. And when we eat that, we absorb those kind of emotions, and it affects our thinking. It affects
Yeah,
our
I yeah, I understand a little bit of it's like you're saying that it has some karmic effects on you or something like that.
yes, yeah. We feel the angriness when they die, uh,
Yeah, the
or
fear, for
some
example, something like that.
yes, all the negative emotions, and it affects us into like further actions. You can sometimes cannot be calm in your thinking. And that's why we took like 4 days in a month to reset, not eating animals, to reset our brain. Not, yeah. I'm so
So
sorry.
no, it's fine. So I have a
Yeah.
question about that. Like, why only 4 days a year? Because like it
No, a
seems to
month,
me
a
that
month.
okay, every month 4 days.
Yes, every month,
Okay,
4 days. Yes.
okay, and why only every month? If like it seems to me that you, by your point of view, your religious view, like people get like some negative consequences by eating animals, like some negative effects or karmic effects. So why eat them all the rest of the days of the month? Then what would be your justification, your reason to do so.
Yes, because like when we were born, our parents eating animals, and we automatically feed it by our parents, and we do it automatically. There's no reason to not eating them because their flavor, they smell good, and yeah, they are really good when you eat. The uh, yeah, so there's no reason for me to not eating animals until there are days when I search on the YouTubes and internet. I found that animals are killed so brutally, and that's the moment why I took some days to not eating animals. But still, I have to struggle. I still have to struggle with eating animals because it's been a long time, like 20 years eating, meat. It's something deep in my instinct. And when I'm not eating those, I feel pretty hard.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so you said a couple of things there, like as justifications for eating animals. So you said first tradition, then you said something about the taste pleasure that you receive from eating animals, and then you said something about instinct. I want to ask you about each of them individually. So let's go one at a time. So you said tradition. So do you think just because something is a tradition, it is justified, it's morally justified, just because we've been doing something for a long time?
Uh, what does it mean? It justified. I'm so sorry. Justified. Yes. Let me see.
Yeah, so just because something is traditional, doesn't
Mhm.
that it doesn't mean it is okay. That it doesn't mean that it's good. It is a good thing to do just because it is a tradition.
No, no, actually, I don't think so. There. Recently, in my country, there's a lot of traditions are really bad, and it's like in the old ego, and they're not fit like the present. Um, but still, I don't
Sure.
think because in the let me see.
Are you
In
there?
the evolution process, uh, like animals kill animals for survive, so for their
Sure.
survival,
Yeah.
and
Let me.
yeah,
Sorry to interrupt. It's just that that would be getting into another point. I just want to stay with tradition right now. We can talk about instincts and evolution next.
yes, yes.
But yeah, do you? But for example, do you accept that something being traditional doesn't make it okay? Like for example, there's been a lot of traditions that are cruel. Like you said, like for example, slavery used to be a tradition. Just because something is tradition doesn't make it okay, right?
No, no, no. I don't think just because it's a tradition makes it a good thing. It's something that people think and do, and uh, like think they're right. But as people, like improved and learn about everything, know about everything. I don't think slavery is a good thing now.
Of course, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I agree with you. Like there's been traditions that are cruel, and nowadays we think we were uh, they were horrible things like slavery, for example. And I think it is important to question those traditions that are cruel.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. We
Yeah,
always have
you
to
agree.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah, so you agree with me that a tradition alone is not a justification to keep doing this. Like, for example, we're born into this world, and as you said, our parents bring us in certain traditions, but just
Yes.
because it's a tradition and we've been doing it for a long time, that itself doesn't justify the action, right?
Yes, yes, I agree with that point. Yeah.
Okay, and then we can move to one of the other things that you said, like for example, taste or uh, evolution. I don't know which one you want to do first.
Let's talk about taste.
Okay, so like taste pleasure, right? Like eating meat is tasty. I would agree with you there, but do you think taste pleasure justifies violence? It justifies what we do to the animals.
No, I don't really think taste is something related to violence. Just the way people feel that enjoy the moment, enjoy the flavor that this word gives to people. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but do you think the pleasure alone, the taste pleasure justifies? For example, if somebody thought that eating humans was really tasty and it smelled good and all the things you said, would you say it would be
Mhm.
a justification to eat the human?
Mm, yes, I think yes, I agree with that point of view. If there is like aliens come to Earth and then they want to taste the humans, I think they have a point to do that.
So I didn't quite catch that. So you said if somebody liked the taste of humans, it would be okay for them to murder and eat humans, or it wouldn't be okay.
Of course, uh, when I'm a person in this humanity, I don't want anyone to hurt my people. But in their point of view, that they want to eat us. So I'm not like I have to protect myself, and it's not right for me to eat human.
Sure, you would
Yeah.
want to protect yourself, but let's say uh, nobody's gonna hurt you, but they're gonna hurt somebody else. Like for example, somebody like Jeffrey Dahmer, who was a cannibal and he killed people and eat their bodies. Do you think something like that is wrong to do it? Do you think that that person is immoral for murdering people and eating them? Or do you think it should be okay and allowed and we should allow people to do that in society?
No, we shouldn't allow that kind of people to murder and eat people because it's like uh,
Sure.
eating your fellow is like eating yourself, and it's kind of a way to destroy yourself. And I don't want that to happen.
Sure, yeah,
It's,
and
yeah.
why would you say it's wrong in the case of humans but not in the case of animals? Like for example, what would you say is the morally significant difference between us and animals that justify it? Why does taste pleasure justify violence in the case of animals but not in the case of humans?
Wait.
What was that?
Because I don't really get your questions because I don't have enough vocabularies to understand that. So,
Okay, man. I can phrase it differently if you want. Uh, let me ask you this: what do you think is more important, taste pleasure or life, the life of animals,
the life,
their lives?
yes.
Yeah, so you would agree that the life of animals have higher value. So why take their lives away from them just for pleasure, right? Don't you think there's something a little wrong with that?
Hmm.
Just for the reason of pleasure alone. Let's say you could be healthy and survive without eating animals, but you just wanted to eat animals because they taste good. Uh, is that a good reason to take the lives away from those animals, which you agree have higher value than pleasure?
Yeah, yeah. I think it is not right to, like feed our pleasure, feed our desire, just to eat animals. Yeah, it's not the right
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, man. So you're pretty much, you seem like a vegan already, at least in your values, like the way you're responding to these questions. I think you have the same values that a vegan has. The only the only difference is that you haven't aligned your actions with your values. You still consume animals. So yeah, you wanted to talk about like biological reasons as well, something about instinct or evolution. Can you explain a little bit what you meant by that?
Yes. So I watch, like geography, like those TV shows, live show that talking about how animals killing each other for survival, for their survival. And I think when we, our human, get an evolution, we used to be like monkeys, I guess, or some animals underwater, as TV said. And we used to eat a lot to for our survival. Not we're not eating, vegans like being vegan like in the present.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you there. Both things you said, like animals in nature, they're carnivorous animals that need to eat other animals to survive. They're we as you said, we used to consume animal products in nature, and we
Yes.
needed to, for survival reasons, we needed to eat whatever we could find to survive.
Yes.
Like but like don't you think there's a difference there between an animal in nature just trying to survive and us, which we have other options available to us, which are more compassionate options? Like, why not choose plants instead of animals? Like
I think the most like the most important thing about eating animals is about the taste. People, I think people want to enjoy the pleasure, the taste when they eat. And vegans, vegetables does not contain a lot of flavor in that. It's all about the desire. Desire makes me people want to enjoy more and more the flavor of this earth. Something like that.
sure, yeah, but I thought we already agreed that taste pleasure alone is not a justification for violence. Like, for example, you said that it probably would, it is wrong to kill animals just because they're tasty. And by the way, I disagree with you. I know it's subjective, but I think uh, vegan diets can be very tasty. Like there's a lot of, for example, meat alternatives, like some stuff like mock meats and stuff like tofu and seitan and stuff like that, which it tastes similar to meat, and it's really good, and has
Mhm.
high amounts of protein and stuff like that. So I personally don't miss meat, because I can have a lot of taste pleasure in the vegan diet alone. But that's not the point. The point is that this taste pleasure doesn't justify the violence, and you agreed with that, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So
Um,
do you think there are any biological reasons to eat animals? Like, for example, do you think it's important for our survival, or something like that?
Mostly about survival, and the other thing is about our desire. 2 points, I think, about desire.
Sure, but I thought we took desire out of the table already, so we can spend a little more time in desire, so we can figure out whether or not it's a good justification. So desire alone, imagine like somebody desired to eat you. Would you
Hmm.
think it would be justified for that person to kill you and eat you just because they desire to eat your body?
Mm, yeah, that's a hard question to answer.
I mean,
it's
I don't think
yeah.
it's a hard one. I don't think it's hard. I would say no to that. Like, if somebody wanted to kill me just to satisfy their pleasure, I would say like fuck them. No, like no, like I would see that as wrong, even if
Yes,
they
yes, I
desire.
know, I know. So yeah, I know about that. But I read a story about a murderer. He killed children for their, their um, fi- fingers. Yes. So that murderer killed children for fingers and put it on his necklace for like 99 fingers as his record. And as he saw that guy, and that guy allows him to kill and take his finger. And there's something inside that guy who allowed him to took his finger, that changed him, and he didn't want to took his finger anymore. And I'm trying to figure out why, like resist the murderer is a worse way than giving them to do whatever they want. So that's why I said that was a hard questions to answer.
Yeah, and I would say that that's a wrong thing to do. Would you agree that killing children and taking their fingers, that's wrong? Definitely, right?
Yes, yes, that is definitely wrong. You have no right to do that.
Of course, yeah, and I would say that it comes down to empathy. Like you said, like somebody took the finger of the murderer and he realized he didn't want to do that anymore. Like, I think that's the same thing that uh that makes me vegan, because I have empathy for animals. I wouldn't want like, if I was an animal, I wouldn't those sort of things done to me. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think is so important about pleasure that like makes it gives us a right to do this to the animals?
What is so important about the pleasure that gives us the right to kill the animal?
Yeah, like we have to think about what pleasure, like what taste pleasure really is. It's just like a momentary sensory experience. Like for us, like eating a meal with animal products is just something like something really quick, a quick pleasure. But for the animal, it means their life, right? That they lost their life for us to have that one meal. Why is that so important? That it justifies what we do to the animals.
I don't really think about this.
Sure,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Sorry.
I have never been thinking about this question. That's a great question, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sorry to put you in the spot. It's just like I think it's pretty important to think about this kinds of stuff, because like I said, I think this is a cruel tradition. It's something that we've been doing for a long time, but I don't think we are morally justified at all in keeping in doing this, because we have alternatives now. You know what I mean? So like
Yes.
what would be your answer to that, the pleasure justifying violence thing?
Mm, let me think. Give me a sec. I gotta think about the moment when I eat.
Yeah, I can ask you like related questions, like, because I want you like to get a feeling of what insignificant thing like pleasure is. Like, for example, there's different kinds of pleasures. Like, there's taste pleasure, but there's also other kinds of sensory pleasures, like for example, the hearing, like something like hearing music is pleasurable, right? Something like listening to
Yes.
music.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm not someone who is, like too be important about the meal. I don't really care about what I'm eating. Just the taste is fine. I don't really care about the taste. It's just okay to eat. But the most thing I care is about eating with who and who I'm sharing the meals.
Of course,
So
man. There
yeah,
yeah, of course, there are higher values than just pleasure alone. Like, and
yeah.
this is why I think it isn't justified just by pleasure alone. Like, for example, imagine somebody wanting to kill animals just because they like the way it sounded, like they like the way the animals screamed when they're dying. Do you think that would be a crazy person?
It's terrible, man. That guy is terrible.
Of course,
It's kind of
and
something
imagine,
yeah.
yeah, and imagine something like they like the way that it felt when it a knife entered the neck of the animal and it lost its life. Let's say the only reason that guy was killing animals was just because he really liked the way that the knife felt when it enters the neck of the animal.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I used to think about that kind of feeling. I imagined I was a butter. Yeah, and it's something terrible to do that. Whenever I see the animals killed by a knife in the neck and the blood come out, it's I feel scared in the way of feeling, and I also
Sure.
feel I'm crying at that moment when I imagine I was a butcher. Butcher,
Uh,
yeah, butcher.
yeah, yeah. When we pretty much yeah, it's taking the life of these animals and doing this horrible stuff just by such because of such a silly thing as it tastes good. That's not a morally justified reason. Would you agree?
Yes, yes, I agree with that.
Sure, man. I'm glad. Like we took taste pleasure out of the table. So like let's talk about the biological reason. So you said like you saw it as a necessity to eat animals. What do you think are the nutrients that are in animal products that we couldn't find in plants?
Nutrient. Mm, I don't know. I don't really get into research about the nutrient in animals, so I don't really know. I just eat it, and I think because when eating big, vegetables products makes us feel, hungry faster than eating animals products. So people tend to eat like meat because it takes a longer time to digest.
Yeah, man. So I'm not an expert on nutrition myself, and I'm not like well read in the research either. But I can defend myself. I know a thing or two, and like from what I know, there's nothing in meat that you can't find in animal products. Like as long as you're eating enough calories and a well balanced diet, you will be totally healthy on a vegan diet. The only thing
Yeah,
that
yes.
the only thing that the medical experts recommend is to supplement with vitamin B12, which is it's not found naturally in vegan diets and in plants.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I do think vegetables contains all the amount that the animal products contain. Um, but I think it is really hard. Like not many people have the knowledge about the vegetables. um, to know that eating this kind of vegetables contains vitamin what. Just eating like meat and some kind of vegetables, uh, combination of two of them, then we got enough energy for the day. So that's why people don't think about eating what.
yeah,
Just
so I would
yeah,
agree with you that it might be a little more inconvenient just because we're all we all traditionally eat animal products, and we need to figure out what to eat as vegans and stuff like that. But would you agree with me that it is possible to survive and be healthy on a vegan diet?
Yes, yes, I totally agree with that. Because yeah, I saw some tourists from a vegan country. I don't know what's the country, but they said they are all vegans, and I can see that their health condition is really good. The face, the skin, everything are really good. So I think vegan diet is something. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, man, and the medical professionals, they agree with this. Like the largest group of nutritional experts on the planet, which is called the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. They released a peer-reviewed statement which it said that the plant-based diets are nutritionally adequate throughout all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy, when you're a child, and even for athletes. Like you can be like a bodybuilder and be a vegan, for example.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, like, if you agree with me that it is possible to be vegan and survive and be healthy, then I think there's no more justifications left, right? We discussed all your justifications. We discussed tradition. We discussed what was the other, taste, pleasure, and also
Yes,
biology. So
allergy.
what would be your reason then for eating animals if you like think none of those reasons alone justify
Yes.
eating animals? Sorry.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this for a long time. Yes, it's because I don't really get into thinking about eating vegetables products because I'm too busy with the life when I have to struggle with my work and everything around. Yeah, I do think about being a vegan, but still don't have anything to, like I don't have the opportunity to become a vegan. I don't know why. I still want to become someone who's like vegan and be friendly to the environment, but I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
So what would be your reason not to, like? Did you say something about finance? Like, would you say that
Yeah,
a vegan diet,
finance.
it is not as what would you say, like financially, like possible or something like that for you?
Mm, yes, I think about
Or
the finance and my knowledge about vegetables is not good enough. And I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to cook like vegetables because they are really hard to cook.
yes,
Yes.
what does your, if you don't mind me asking, like what does your normal diet consist of? Like what do you usually eat in a day?
Me, so I eat like chicken chest, this part of chicken, and a lot of vegetables. Sometimes I eat meat. Yeah, like pigs. So
Sure. So
those, I just eat around those kind. I don't eat much, just those kind of.
sure. But would you say like your diet mostly consists of animal products, or does it mostly consist of plant-based products, like things like rice and beans and legumes and vegetables, or is it more meat-based?
Um, like balance between meat and vegetables. Um, like balance. I
Okay.
eat the right amount of meat, and I eat the right amount of vegetables. Sometimes I eat more vegetables, I guess. Yeah, more vegetables.
Sure, and like what kind of vegetables? Like things like grains, legumes, fruits, veggies, stuff like that.
Um, it's, like lettuce, some green things, and carrots. Mm, some
Okay,
uh, the green thing in the carrots, like
okay,
those kind of
that
small things. I don't know how to express that.
it's fine. So, like, would you say that, like, on your budget, would it be possible for you, instead of eating all those uh, plant-based foods that you're eating and the animal products, would you say that on your budget it would be possible to eat vegetables, and instead of meat, some other sort of meat alternative, something like tofu, something like seitan, some sort of alternatives to meat, or more grains, more beans, lentils, stuff like that?
Oh, at least is in my city where I'm living, meat is a lot like cheaper than vegetables. It is really cheap in
Oh, really?
yeah, yes, it is cheaper.
Like, is meat cheaper than things like rice and beans, potatoes, lentils, and stuff like that?
Yes, actually, in my city where I'm living, it is cheaper. To be someone who's vegan in my city where I'm living, they have to be like pretty rich, like have a pretty good budget to spend into
Okay,
eating vegans. Yeah.
that's pretty weird, because most of the times, the cheapest foods in the, like, in the grocery store and stuff like that, are all the plant-based foods, like the rice, the beans, the lentils, the
Yes,
potatoes. Like, are
yes,
you saying that on your country that the animal products are a lot cheaper than the plant-based products?
not a lot cheaper, but to use, like with the amount of money I'm going to the market and how I spend it into those kind, then I put like a little part in the meat, but the other part is about the vegetables is a much like more expensive, much more expensive in the vegetables.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about that. I would have to look up, like, the prices of foods in Vietnam. In
Yes,
Yeah, but
in Ho Chi Minh City. It's in Ho Chi Minh City. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, but like let's say, like, for the sake of argument, just because, like, I don't know, like, your situation specifically, and
Mhm.
your budget and stuff like that, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, that it was totally possible for you, on your budget, to consume a completely plant-based diet. Would you say that it would be better ethically and morally than the diet you're currently eating,
Yeah, it would
if
be
it was possible?
better. I love to eat vegetables if anyone can cook it for me because I'm a bad cook. If anyone can cook it and like know a lot about the vegetables, I would definitely go into being a vegan. That's something like going around me for like years.
Yeah, sure, man. So, like, there's stuff like that. Like, it might be inconvenient to you to go vegan right away, but, like, there's an important question that we have to ask ourselves. Like, what's more important, like, our convenience, or the lives of the animals? And the vegans will choose the lives of the animals, even if it costs a little inconvenience for us. Like, for example, even if I had to learn to cook a little bit, like, it's not that hard. I would learn to cook if it meant not murdering animals. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
agree with me.
yeah. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, and you also agree with me with, like, you find it is wrong. Like, for example, you told me that you watch some footage online of the way we treat animals, and you think it's pretty it's pretty cruel, it's horrible, and stuff like that, right?
Yes, it's horrible. It's horrible, not cool.
Sure. Yeah. So even
Uh,
yeah. So even if it was a little inconvenient at first, and you had to learn a few things and change a few things in your lifestyle, you would still think that it would be like ethically superior, right, to be vegan if there was a way, yeah, and it was possible for you and fairly, practicable.
yes, yes. The other thing
Sure,
is,
man.
I'm lazy. I'm lazy to do that. But yeah, those kind of points getting me into thinking a lot about.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
because I'm
great, man.
lazy,
Like,
like yeah, I'm lazy. I don't really think about. I don't really put a lot of attention on the way animals are killed. So that's why I don't have that much sympathy that you are having right now. But
sure,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, I agree with you that, yeah, sometimes we get lazy, and it might be inconvenient, but the reason I am vegan is because I think it's a moral obligation, right? Because, like, for the same reasons it would be wrong to, holocaust humans and eat them, it is wrong to do this to animals. So if there's a way around it, which there is, it's called being vegan, then I would choose that, even if it costs a little bit of inconvenience at first,
yes, yeah. I got you.
Yeah, man. So
Oh,
it's pretty cool. It seems like you agree with me in most of these things. Like, I think you're already a vegan at heart. It's just that, like you said, your actions are not there yet. You're a little bit lazy about changing, and you didn't know a lot of this stuff, which is fine. I wasn't vegan uh, at first either, so I learned all this stuff. But would you agree with me there? Like, you have some of the same values that I do. You have compassion for the animals and stuff like that.
yes, I agree. I agree with that. And yeah, those were really, like let me search the word. Convinced. Those are convincing. I
Awesome, man,
cannot
and I'm
disagree
glad.
with you. I cannot disagree with you. Those are
I'm
really
glad, man, and
convincing.
it's awesome that you're a pretty reasonable guy, it seems, because I never go into these debates looking to convince people, because it's really hard to convince them. But my goal is always just to raise awareness and to get people thinking about this stuff. But it's awesome that you are convinced already, which is pretty cool. It tells a lot about you. You have a good heart, you have compassion, and yeah. So what do you think? Do you think this is the most that you ever thought about the topic of veganism in your life?
Yes, it is. You can say that. We in our country we don't really debate. Debating is it's something just like coming up these days. And I in my generations we have never been like debating about anything.
Okay.
But this is like the first moment in debating about something so really taking seriously.
Awesome, man. It's an honor. It's an honor for me that I got you thinking about this topic, which I think is an important thing to think about. It's a moral emergency what we're doing to animals, and like I really I find debates really awesome. It's really cool to debate because, you know you're exposing people to different ideas, and I think the whole uh, recent moral progress takes place, and the world keeps changing for the better is because of things like this, because of debating, exchanging ideas and stuff like that.
Yes, yes. Oh, okay. I'm just learning about how writing changing the people, and then now it's about really debating. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm talking like a kid.
Yeah, like unfortunately, it's not always through debate that we change the world. Sometimes, things like
Yes,
war, some things like war has have to take place. Like for example, slavery in America, had to end after a war. Which is it's pretty fucked up. But sometimes that's the way things happen.
yeah, things just happened. Like a lot of things we cannot solve just for now, but I think in the future we can solve it. As people changing their
Yeah,
mind. I like about the racist in America. I think it's like horrible. It's
yeah,
it's
and
like
I think
100 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think what we're doing to the animals is horrible as well. And my hope is that the future is vegan. Somewhere in the near future we abolish animal agriculture and the animal holocaust, and people going vegan, maybe through debates like this, or maybe through some sort of technology. Like there's some scientists developing lab grown meat, which is meat that is grown in a laboratory instead of killing animals. So that
Mhm.
might be something that
Yeah,
convinces
that
people
was
to.
awesome. Yeah, that was convincing people to change from eating animals to vegetables.
Yeah, and it would be better
Yeah.
for the environment as well, and to prevent pandemics, because most infectious diseases are because of animal agriculture. They actually jump from animal to human. you know
Yes. Yes.
yeah, eh, what was that? Were you gonna say something?
No, no, I think it was awesome to talk about something like this. I'm thinking about it. It's awesome. So awesome.
Yeah, man, and thank you to agree to have the conversation. Do you enjoy debates like this?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I really like it. It's
That's
just
great.
my inconvenience when I cannot, like, convey my ideas better.
Yeah, I have that same problem. Like English is not my native language as well, and so sometimes I struggle with my words. But this is practice, right? We're practicing at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
Okay.
what was that?
No, 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 no. Yeah, just you go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to thank you again, and just I gonna ask you if there's something else that you wanted to talk about, and if not, I'm gonna ask you one last question, and then we can call it. We can
Mm,
end the conversation if you don't have anything else.
so, oh,
Hello, are you there?
yeah, yes. Yeah. I don't think I have any questions because my problem now is about my work. So I don't really have anything in my mind right now. Okay.
Okay, so you don't have anything to ask a vegan specifically, something you have a doubt on or something.
No, my future person I imagined I want to be in like 5 or 10 years is to become someone who's vegan. So
Awesome, man, and
yeah,
I'm glad I helped push you in that direction, and hopefully you're vegan from here to 10 years, and hopefully earlier than 10 years. you know
yes,
so
yeah,
I
I
have
know, I
one last
know.
question for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so what would you say is a better way to live, a more compassionate way to live? Like, for example, would it be if I'm gonna give you three options. If we could live without harming people, number one. Number two, if we could live without harming animals, or if we could live harming neither animals or humans. What would you say is the better option?
Yes, the best options was living option C, option number three, that was living with the animals and humans together
Sure,
to,
without
yeah,
harming
yeah, but
either,
that have
right?
how many anyone, yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and that's pretty much veganism in simple terms, right there. It's just trying to do our best to reduce the exploitation and suffering and cruelty and death of other beings. That's
Yes,
that's pretty much why veganism makes sense. It's really logical, and not only for ethical reasons and environmental and health reasons, but also like if you're into spirituality, I would say that it's a lot better for you karmically and spiritually to avoid harming animals.
yeah, I'm gonna try. I'll try. I
Hell
try
yeah,
to
dude. So
reduce. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I actually don't have any reason to eat animals. Uh, yeah, I told you about the reasons of my budget and my knowledge about vegetables. Those are kind of things. But I'll try. I'll push my progress of eating more vegetables products.
hey, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Hello?
I'm sorry about that. Yes, just my headphones died. They lost their batteries. So yeah, I heard what you said, and yeah, man. Like just I would ask you, just for as compassion for the animals to figure out if it is possible with your budget and if it's possible with your financial situation and get a little bit more educated in what kinds of vegetables you could eat, and then
Yes.
you'll be good to go. Being vegan is easier than it seems, and it feels really good to live in a way that doesn't harm animals and stuff like that.
Oh, can I ask you a question? So how long have you been being a vegan?
How long? Like 5 years now,
5 years.
almost 6 years. Yeah.
And why did you decide to become a vegan?
I decided to become a vegan at first for ethical reasons and spirit. Like I was studying a lot of Eastern philosophy, and I was following somebody on YouTube that talked a lot about veganism and the reasons to go vegan. He talked about the uh, environmental reasons, the health reasons, and also the ethical reasons why it is wrong to harm animals if we could survive and be healthy without it. And it really convinced me, man. And I read a lot. I read a lot of books about veganism. I heard all the sides of the arguments, and I got convinced that it was the best thing that I could do.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah,
So,
and it makes sense from from Eastern philosophy, which comes from like the sort of spirituality and religion and philosophy that people in your side of the world follow. It also makes sense from Western philosophy and ethics, and it even makes sense from like the Christian point of view. Like if you believe in a benevolent God, a good God, like I don't think a good God would allow us to harm animals if we had other options. You know.
yeah, yeah, I know that. I know about that. But,
Yeah. So anything else?
no, no, not really. I don't have anything else.
Fine, man. So it was great talking to you, dude.
Yeah, it was great talking to you. It was awesome. I don't know how these conversations happen this morning, but it's pretty magic.
I'm glad, dude. It's an honor. And is it morning? Where you said that it's morning where you're from?
I'm from Vietnam.
And
It's
it is early in the morning over there.
in the middle of the day, like 11:24 a.m.
Okay. And
Yeah.
here is midnight already over here. So you know.
You know, two part of the world. We are two other side of the world. Oh, it's nice to talking to you. I'm gonna head
Yeah,
out for lunch.
sure. It was.
Try to eat less meat, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, of
We'll
course,
try.
man. If you could eat no meat, that would be the best. And I would in direct message I would send you a bit of research about about the nutritional adequacy of being vegan. So I'm gonna send you the statement of the nutritional experts. So so you see that it's possible.
Yeah, that
Anyway,
would be great. Yeah.
have a great rest of the day, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, have a good day, dude. Have a good night. I'm sorry.
Thank you, dude. Yeah, bye bye.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.